Hello, welcome to another episode of Mega Manga Monday. I am Jason Hahn, and today we're talking about One Piece chapter 1055, titled A New Era. We've been spoiled with chapters lately. Just so much is happening after the break, especially. Oda and his team are just fitting so much information in every chapter. It's just so much to talk about. I could gab about it by myself for a long time, but y'all probably don't want to hear that. But I got my buddy Francesco with me today to talk about some One Piece. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing great, Ben. And sorry, Jason. It's a pleasure being back on the podcast. And yes, I'm looking forward to having a nice One Piece chat after a long time.
Yeah,
Excited.
yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, last time we had you on the podcast, it was before the break, so we had
Yeah.
we had a whole month off of One Piece, and now we've had a couple chapters back, and I don't know, man. I don't know if you've listened to our past discussion about the new chapter, but I am loving the direction we're heading in. Just it feels like everything is getting set up so much, and within these last two chapters, we've already tripled, possibly quadrupled the amount of Shanks has been in the series. But yeah, especially with this chapter, I love Momonosuke's role. It seems like anytime he meets somebody new and powerful, he, for the lack of a better term, levels up. And this chapter, especially when he finally unleashed an attack he'd been working on for a while, I was cheering. I was so happy to see that. And of course, his whole reasoning with not wanting Luffy or even Yamato to help was so they could defend the whole place themselves and prove that. And this chapter just it had that all in spades. And oh man, I just so much to talk about. But yeah, man, we haven't heard from you lately on One Piece. What have your thoughts been on the last few chapters?
Oh, I'm just amazing, really. I mean, we waited for so long uh, for the break to be over, and we got everything we wanted. I think, and I was actually today I was rereading some of the past few chapters, like 4 or 5 chapters, and it's just been great. Like everything after the end of the big battle was amazing, and maybe in the moment we did not appreciate it enough because we were still, hot on the on the energy of the big fight and what's going on and all of that. But just my suggestion for everyone is just take the time to reread the past few chapters and just enjoy, because this is the most important time in the series. Basically, it's just it doesn't get. I mean, yeah, we say that for everything, of course, but it's a major turning point, and yeah, just enjoy it.
Yeah, you bring up a great point. And it's kind of something I've noticed whenever I'm watching like a new show or a season of a show. I usually end up liking the episode before the finale more than the finale in most cases. And this is kind of that stage of One Piece right now. That what they call the penultimate episode is where pretty much all the plot lines come together to eventually hopefully blossom into an amazing climax for the story. And a lot of shows kind of fumble the ball usually with that. But we're at that point of One Piece right now where this is all setting up the powder kegs that are going to be going off for the last couple arcs of this entire story. And in our last discussion too, it just with us jumping around from getting everything we wanted to know about the Reverie, Oda told us in about 3 pages, which is all stuff that we'd been waiting years to find out.
Can you just give me a sec? There's someone making noise outside. Let me close the
Okay.
window.
Oh yeah, I'll just gab a little bit. No problem, man. Yeah, it just we have everything going on with the admirals, the headquarters. world nobles. Like we've been getting little updates on where everybody is at right now, and everybody is getting angry. Everybody's getting ready for war, or everybody
Yep.
is setting up to accomplish their dreams. Say becoming pirate king. And by person with the dreams of becoming pirate king, I am of course referring to Shanks. Uh, we got one of my favorite parts of the last chapter was getting to see Shanks's crew, even the people on the lower end who are swabbing the poop deck or whatever. They're talking about what they've heard of the legendary Straw Hat Luffy, and I love the whole idea that the new generation is already looking at Luffy as if he's, he's solidified himself as an emperor, but he is the new big deal on the scene, and Shanks deciding to not meet up with him, instead going for the One Piece, but setting off a little, just a little hockey attack at one of the most intimidating admirals we've seen. It's also the most concentrated hockey we've seen.
I I have some. I'm not sure he is one of the most intimidating ones. Like I did not like the whole Ryokugyu act. I think he was really, really underwhelming in terms of in terms of a lot of things. I mean, we can talk about it later if you want. Just
No, go ahead.
I don't love him. I mean, if you think about it, like every other admiral had very intimidating presence.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just in terms of even the ones that you hate, right? Like, think about like Akainu or whatever, like the guys that you really hate. Even if you know they're wrong, basically, but you still
they have the charm.
what's the right word? You have an understanding. I don't want to say respect, but you have an understanding for their vision of justice, whatever BS that might be, right?
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, but this guy, when you listen to the speech that he made, about being the discrimination creates justice and all of that, right? That was really underwhelming, right? In terms of motivation for a character, that was really. I mean, I don't want to say silly, but compared to the other guys, this was just, not.
Especially after we've gone through so many chapters with Kaido and so many villains who already kind of repeat that sort of thing.
Absolutely.
And that all kind of was really focused on, I'd say, in this chapter. I mean, the last chapter too, we got him just talking about how, or was it this one where he's talking about how the hierarchy needs people who don't matter? Yeah, I think it was last chapter where he was even saying like it is totally within my legal boundaries to kill you all here, and that's 100%
exactly.
fine.
Yeah, you guys have no human rights, whatever. Which is I don't know, maybe it's just a different way of, because Akainu did much more terrible things. So but still, it just. I don't know.
I would agree.
I was going to, and the way he just ran away, with the whole Shanks thing, was just.
Well, it does a couple things. I mean, before this admiral decided to start fighting the vassals, for me personally, I liked everything until he started talking about that stuff, about them not having rights and all that stuff. Because I agree with you. So many other villains have given a very similar speech like that already. However, before that, I really enjoyed. He almost has like a fanboy attitude towards Akainu, and I'm hoping that we get more of that, because I think it would really add some silliness to his character. If it's almost as if it's a mere relationship between like Luffy and Bartolomeo, I would
Yeah.
love it if it's the same thing, but on the Marine side. So I still think that we have more, and hopefully more time with him will help set him apart from all the other villains who've talked about the benefits of slavery in One Piece and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Um, but before that, I mean, he also took down an injured king and queen. Like, he was made to be
Oh
quite
yeah, yeah.
scary. I think his power is fascinating and pretty
Oh
cool.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely,
Um,
absolutely.
and in
Yeah.
this chapter, I loved the whole Raizo using his fire jitsu, and him
Oh
being
yeah.
and him, of course, being like, "I'm an admiral. I've of course thought of what would be the most obvious weakness," and and then a couple pages later, he gets blasted by Momo's fire breath. Which
Yeah.
honestly, if Momo had just blasted him with the fire breath, it would have been even more underwhelming. But because we got Raizo uh,
Yeah.
trying it and it failing, it really helped amp up Momo's attack. And
Yeah.
I had the same reaction Luffy did at the end of this. It was another one of my favorite bits of this whole chapter was seeing the big three plus Jinbei, having
Yeah.
watched the
That's
entire battle.
that's, I think that's one of the best panels in the whole series. The, yeah, if you think about it, the amount of things that just that panel tells you, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Remember,
Oh,
I mean, because we all believe that they were not aware of the admiral being there, right?
yeah. Hmm.
And then we find out they actually were. I mean, they knew, but they just don't care. And if you compare it to every other time that they had to deal with an admiral, like when Aokiji arrived, remember for the first time, and they were just
Oh yeah.
trashed
And Robin
completely.
just scared stiff, and yeah, it's the whole reason
Yeah,
that Luffy develops Gear Second. Um,
yeah. Or when they are in Sabaudi and they
oh
they
man,
see and they
it's
just
not.
get again,
I
yeah, that
I
Kizaru, and then
Kizaru.
yeah,
Yeah, I forgot his name.
yeah, exactly. And of course during the big battle when Akainu just kills Ace because Luffy is unable to do anything to
Hmm.
stop him.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, at that point, he didn't have hockey. He didn't really have any way of fighting them, which also kind of lends to one of the other best panels that so many people love referencing too is Luffy's entrance to Marineford with the in front of the three admirals. Um, so
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, we've
and
definitely gotten to that point of the series now
so
where the
yeah, exactly.
previous.
This panel just tells you that all the journey that they've made, all the everything they've done, uh, now they're no longer the underdogs
Yeah,
for the first time. So it's beautiful. Like it tells you that now they are on the same level as everyone else. It's no longer a matter of classic shonen. Oh, let's get stronger to beat this guy and whatever. Now it's just they are playing with the same rules
yeah.
and on the same field, which is absolutely beautiful, I think.
Which it's absolutely beautiful, and it adds so much extra context for that final panel. I mean, other than just being drawn very well and featuring a lot of people's favorite characters, it tells so much, especially as you said, just through retrospective thinking how far we've
Yeah.
come, and then going to that. It kind of helps with another parallel you just helped me realize too, with Shanks quote unquote saving the day from this admiral. Shanks isn't quite. I don't know, want to say if it's almost like him underestimating Luffy and Zoro and everybody else that's there, because they're explaining. Of course, we could have absolutely taken down this admiral, and Shanks was taking down the admiral because he thinks that they need to heal up and all that stuff.
It was
Sorry.
just pissed. It's not. I don't think it was like it was a matter of Shanks not trusting the guys. I think it was more that he was so angry that
Yeah.
he could not resist. It was
That
just angry.
Yeah, that panel at the end there, that is a very angry looking Shanks.
Yeah.
And something I didn't even notice about that page either until I was reading a couple comments about the chapter. Of course, he's referring to the new era. We get a shot of Luffy, Momo, Hiyori, and then those little tiny lines just skimmed over it the first time. Yeah, it's supposed to be Uda. So the new movie is kind of canon, kind of not. We'll definitely talk more about it once we're all able to watch it. But I think you're actually getting. I think where you're at in the world, you're getting going to be able to see One Piece Red before everybody in the States, if I'm correct.
Oh, really?
I thought I read that United States isn't getting it until a couple months from now, maybe.
Oh, wow.
So I'd have to look up on that. I'm not sure if they've announced worldwide release dates yet. But yeah, this would only be the second. They made One Piece New or Strong World, Shiki.
Yes, yes, yes.
Which I think is really interesting. I think the producers of the movie or whoever's marketing has even said like it doesn't really fit into a timeline, but has some canon stuff in it, which is an interesting dynamic.
And Oda even is just he added a page at the beginning of this chapter for some details on the on the movie. It was like an extra page in the beginning. I don't know if you caught that with Uta.
I did. On the fan translation. Now that you say that, I'm looking at the official release on the Shonen Jump app, and they do not have that page on there.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, it's almost. I almost wonder if they're going to release it all into a one shot once the whole thing is done, officially for the States. But yeah, in the official translation, in the official in the fan translation, not the official version, we got a couple. Was it just one page of Uda crafting her masterpiece? And if I remember correctly, I don't have it in front of me, but she was just kind of recalling some of the bad things that have gone on in her head, or some of the things that people have said just about the world like crumbling around her, or some sad stuff, and her using that inspiration to craft her masterpiece of a song.
Yes,
we'll be getting, I think, just probably 2 more pages. It's going to be a very short little one-off sort of thing, but Oda has promised one of those at the beginning of the next couple chapters. So all anticipation for the new movie, and I'm excited about it. I had a lot of fun seeing One Piece Stampede in the theater. I think One Piece especially is one of those franchises that are really fun to watch as a group. And especially in the movie theater, it's just everybody cheering and laughing at all the gags because you're all fans of One Piece and you're all there to enjoy, and the movies, especially Stampede, are just a fun time. So I'm excited. I'm excited for Red. But other than Uda making brief doesn't even cut it in the amount of detail that they put on that. But yeah, one thing we haven't mentioned also, Robin got to see the next road poneglyph, and yeah, it's awesome, and I wish that she would have said anything else about what she sees on there. I'm sure we'll be getting probably more focus of that on the next chapter now that Ryukugu is kind of retreating, but we got.
I think just one other very interesting thing we got in this chapter was the final confirmation that Yamato is joining the crew and not Momo.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know it should be obvious at this point, but some people were still going on and saying, "Oh no, it's gonna be
Momo
because Yamato has to be the shogun or whatever." So that whole send off was really nice. You know, that Momo telling Yamato, basically you're done here. You've done your part. You did your job, and now it's time for you to just,
which I love. It
yeah,
just really shows how much he's grown.
yeah, absolutely. And that was my my follow up. It's perfect for Momo's evolution as a character. That's just what he needed at this stage. It's perfect, really, in terms of how the story was crafted and how the characters sort of went through all this stuff. It's just, it's everything that needed to happen.
So, yeah, because I mean, if we think back to when we were first introduced to Momonosuke, and let's say, this is highly doubtful, but say we never see Momo again in the entire series, if this is where it's ended off and this is where his story ends, like, he had the perfect character arc. I just, and I still love the idea that his fruit was considered a failure, and it did all the same things that Kaido's has done, but in classic Oda fashion, I am probably 90% certain. I feel 90% certain that the reason it was considered a failure is because Kaido's fruit made him blue, and this one makes you pink. So they're like, oh, we don't like pink. It's not nearly as cool as blue, so this is a failure. But it still is a devil fruit that could be feared around the world. And at the end of the big fight a few chapters ago, before the break, we got Oda kind of giving us a little bit of narration, which he has very rarely done, to say that Momo would go on to become one of the greatest rulers that Wano has ever seen. I was afraid, and this is something I brought up last chapter as discussion, that he could die very shortly, but it'd be one of those things where the short amount of time that he was in charge of Wano, he did something so extravagant to save the people of Wano. But I'm glad that that's not going to be the case. I was kind of afraid that it would be a kind of a cruel twist, but One Piece isn't exactly full of a lot of cruel twists. We've had a lot of those, especially in the last arc. So we've gotten so far a very happy ending with Momo, and honestly, I'm pretty happy that they're able to they seem to be wrapping up this fight with the Admiral already. I was gonna be a little skeptic. I was gonna be a little disappointed if Ryukugu just stepped through everybody and got all the way into Wano. I was anticipating he was going to be the one to find Pluton. Maybe he can scan what's underground. But now that we've gotten a lot more context for Pluton, and the history of old Wano, we still have more. But this chapter revealed that there's a whole other underwater version of Wano that used to be the main Wano 800 years ago, which that seems to be the time frame. 800 years ago seems to be, and you might be able to correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that was when Joy Boy was out making a name for himself. I think that was also during the Void Century.
Yes, absolutely. That's when the big war between the ancient kingdom and the people who would then become the celestial dragons happened.
So it's giving us even more to anticipate with that flashback.
Yeah, absolutely. Even more questions, obviously. Just classic One Piece fashion.
Yes.
We got more questions than answers. And also, how did Jack find the poneglyph? That's a question for you, my friend.
Well, the only thing I could think of, a couple content creators that I love watching and respect highly. One of them, Grand Line Review, made the point, is well, he is a fish man, so that makes sense. However, we do know that he has the devil fruit that turns him into the big mammoth.
Yes.
So
and the explanation that Oda has given is that fishmen, he did that in the past. So fishmen can, they don't die, like, because they don't drown. They can still
Breathe underwater.
Exactly. However, they are unable to move.
Oh.
Okay.
that was something a Grand Line Review pointed out that I was going to coming to was it seems so much more funny if the Beast Pirates just tied him to a rock and just threw him down there.
But if you think about it, it doesn't make sense, because this poneglyph, I mean, it was probably hidden somewhere. He had to actually explore the ruins, right? Not just stand around. So another explanation I heard is that Jack explored the underwater ruins before he got the devil fruit, which...
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, makes sense, because we know that Jack has been in Kaido's crew for a long time, like since the when Kaido took over Wano, Jack was 8 years old, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so one theory is that because he found the poneglyph, then Kaido gave him the devil's fruit.
Oh, quite possibly. That would make sense.
That's interesting. Yeah, I agree. And so, yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. I don't think we have enough elements at the moment to have an answer. But there could be something hidden in the whole devil fruit story, of course, because we still don't know why people lose the ability to swim.
Yeah, with seawater, and I think
actually it's every kind of still water.
Right. Like, I think that's been confirmed by Oda.
Moving. Yes.
So yeah, I'm forever tickled by the idea that they just essentially treated Jack like an anchor and just threw him into the water and had him say, "What do you see down there?"
It's funny.
But I had no idea.
Actually,
because I'd always wondered, like, if a fishman ate a devil fruit, because we've only seen a couple that have done that. I was very curious on how that affected. It just felt like even more cruel irony for a fishman to eat a devil fruit and then not be able to swim anymore.
Yeah.
So until recently, you and some other content creators have told me or have informed me about that, and I didn't realize that, because the only other fishman I can think of that had a devil fruit was I think it was Banderdecken in the he had the very pervy fishman from the Fishman Island arc.
Yes.
And yeah, I don't remember them really explaining it very well back then, but so it was revealed that the weapon that has been brought up since Alabasta, Pluton, a world-fearing weapon, is way deep under Wano. And I am almost curious if it's... I mean, so Odin's dad, who's showing us down here, says that he's never seen it. He's never gone down further to look at it. So I almost wonder it could not be there. It could have been he could have been lied to, but it is very I guess, for the lack of a better term, eye-opening that we have to destroy these mountains that mysteriously formed to hide this weapon and to guard Wano from threats. I did love Law's. We had a little panel of Law's reaction while we were learning all this, and I had the same thought too. Is with the flooding taking out like what everyone knew of Wano at the time. Especially, it's just more fuel and more questions for seeing the 800 years ago flashback. From everything we've know, a devil fruit user could have absolutely have done this. And I gotta say, an evil one too. I mean, because how many people could have possibly have drowned or died from that, and it caused them to have to move their homes up higher up the mountain and stuff like that. Um,
I think that the way that they explained it, it's
Rainwater.
yes,
Yeah, so it may have
and
been more
so
gradual.
it was progressive. It was not like something that happened all of a sudden.
Hopefully.
And so hopefully, yeah, people. But uh, there's another question too. It's like, was the world of One Piece always this way? Like, was always submerged by water, or maybe back then, you know,
Oh,
actually the water level was not that high. I don't know. Before they explain the rainwater thing, my idea was that, yeah, it was like something going on that was connected with the history of the world. So
mhm.
I don't know, man.
Uh,
Interesting stuff
that might be
going on
something
here.
that absolutely that might be something that gets cleared up once we learn about the Void Century. That possibly there was some sort of great flood that
Yeah.
changed the whole world. Um, yeah. Oh boy. I mean, there's just so many things. We really want that flashback. Oda has said that he's going to reveal what happened during the Void Century in these next coming arcs to finish the story and all that good stuff. So we'll find out, I'm sure. um, but it's fascinating to think that it seems like so much like Wano seems to be like the linchpin for so many major world issues.
Yep.
Especially with them revealing that Pluton, whatever the hell that is underground, and the only way that they'd be able to access it is by tearing down these walls. Giving the people of Wano a lot more land, and it's all preserved according to Robin because of the rainwater and it's not seawater. Which
Yep.
for me just is them saying like, oh, we're gonna eventually be able to use all this again, which is awesome because most of the land of Wano has been ravaged by Kaido's forces for the last 20 years. So it just seems like it'll be a very nice, happy ending once the walls come down, especially now that we have a protector and Momomosuke and
I'm not sure. I'm not sure they're coming down now
right.
because because the danger that more dangerous people can count.
Well, yeah, and Odin's dad even brought that up too. He said
Yeah.
that I don't know what Odin learned in his travels. And whatever Odin learned on his travels, Momo has access to because of the journal. So Momo has some information that we are not privy to, and it sounds like even his grandfather, his old Pep Pap, might not be privy to either. So we've got to find out what this huge threat against Wano is. But I mean, it could just also be the world government or the powers that be, the people that, ooh, it might even be Eam, because if Eam has been around for 800 years and is the one that caused the Void Century to be erased and all that stuff from knowledge, they could be the ones that they're hiding Pluton from. So just so much mystery. As you said, we got one answer and then three more questions followed by afterwards, and classic Oda fashion. But yeah, lots of huge revelations. I'm so glad that we don't have a break again next week. I hope that we don't have a break anytime soon because every chapter has just been brimming with very, very important, interesting information. But what are some other stuff about this chapter that you wanted to talk about, man?
Actually, it's from the previous one. I don't know
Yeah.
if you guys discussed this already. Uh, the sake that Shanks is drinking. Okay.
Hmm.
Uh, some crazy people on the internet. They checked that the number of the that's on the bottle and on the glass, I think, they are connected to a Beethoven symphony.
Ooh.
And this symphony is sort of an answer to because the name of the symphony is Destiny, I think. And in chapter 90 something,
Wow, all the way back?
Yeah, all the way back. When Luffy got his first bounty. We see the old man from his village, the mayor, whatever he is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there is reaction to Luffy's getting his first bounty, and what's the name of the woman who tends the bar?
That helped raise Luffy and the boys. Dan.
Yes. No. They just did the one who was standing the bar and the one who appears in the first chapter, basically.
Oh, okay. It's not the big lady. I thought her name was Dan.
No, it's like a normal lady, and and she says, okay, this was something like this was his dream. Okay, she says. Mm-hmm. And the mayor, the old man, answers, or maybe this was his destiny. So people connected that destiny with the sake that Shanks was drinking, so that they're saying that it all connects to the fact that Shanks knew that Luffy was destined to something. That's why he gave him the devil fruit. Because he knew that there was not the Gum Gum. Because have you discussed the last chapter when you see the flashback from Shanks, who the kind of teases that he knew that when he stole the fruit, it was not a simple. It was something more powerful, right?
Yeah, because we even got page 1 saying like, why do they want this? This is just a lame devil fruit that turns people into rubber. And I've gone back to chapter 1. Bar lady's name is Makino. Or Makino.
Yes.
And she is normal.
In the flashback, we even see Shanks smiling right before the sea monster gets his arm, which is something that it's not in the first chapter, right? So if you put all this stuff together, you think that maybe Shanks knew that the Nika fruit had to go to Luffy. And so, it's the whole debate that people don't like the fact that Luffy seems almost like he was a child of destiny, all of that, yada, 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 You remember that. I think we talked about it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I know a lot of people have had the same thoughts about most shonens when they do that. And honestly, I felt like they did that when they revealed that Luffy is the child of Dragon. I kind of felt like they've already done that. They've already gotten to that point here, but this is, of course, bigger.
So it was never a major character. So that remains sort of a, oh, wow, okay, but that's it. Because then Dragon never appears anymore. It's not like he has a role in the story, right?
Well, yeah, I think more importantly, too, is the D. I think
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, I almost feel like anybody with the D in their name, it might stand for destiny or something. It's just they have a major part to play in the, I guess, the destiny of the world. That sounds lame to say, but especially, I mean, we have Law is a D, Blackbeard's a D, Luffy's a D. That's another one of those. Roger, of course. That's another one of those big mysteries we're all just dying to find out more about. Hopefully Robin tells us a little bit more about the poneglyph that we've just seen. Hopefully has some nice information for us, but we'll have to see. But yeah, we did bring up that Shanks might know a little bit, might have known somehow about that fruit a little bit more. We also established that Shanks and his crew probably don't need to find all the poneglyphs because Shanks was on Roger's ship when they found out where Laughtail was. So he has a head start.
Maybe he doesn't know about the actual location, right?
Well, possibly. And there's also, Roger said a couple words to Shanks that we still don't know. His final words to Shanks before he shoved off. So he could know. But I'm almost not sure. I said in the previous podcast too, Shanks fits that role of the mentor, and in a lot of heroes' journey stories, the mentor doesn't often make it to the end of the story. And I kind of feel, especially with the last chapter, where they had the opportunity to go talk to Luffy and all them, and they didn't take it. It kind of makes me afraid that we might not get it. I'm afraid Shanks might die before we get that moment.
No, come on, way too cool.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's not an optimistic theory for sure, and I hope I'm wrong. I think I said it on the last podcast too, and Ben had the same opinion as you. He's like, "Oh no, come on, we can't go this far and not have that moment. We might have a moment that's similar to that, where Shanks is like on his deathbed, and Luffy and him do get to have a final couple words, but." I don't know. I think it would really set the stakes and because as of right now, like, Luffy doesn't like Blackbeard, but he doesn't really have that, like, oh no, I have this huge rival. I need to hunt Blackbeard. But if Blackbeard took down Shanks, it would definitely add to that.
Is he aware that Blackbeard was the one who
took down Ace? Is that what you're going to say?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know. Because I'd have to go back. I've only watched the anime version of it on Enies Lobby. Or no, not Enies Lobby. Impel Down. The last time that Blackbeard and Luffy crossed paths, and they even had a little bit of a fight. I don't remember if it was revealed or established then, or if it was even in the newspaper. I'm not sure if Luffy knows about it. But at this point, I'm not sure who is more to blame for Ace's donating or his death. Akainu or Blackbeard, who Luffy would, put the fault on more.
Oh yeah, but I was just saying that if he knows, and he meets Blackbeard again, he's not gonna, he's not gonna go easy on him.
No. Well, no, I don't think Blackbeard would go easy on Luffy either, because it seems like any time we see Blackbeard, he's either also reacting to, like, Luffy's progress or something like that. But yeah, I don't know. At this point, Luffy is so OP. I'm not sure if. Oh, get it? OP, One Piece. I'm not sure if. Yeah, I don't know what's going to be able to stand up to him.
Blackbeard has the two most powerful devil fruits in the world. So, well, according to him. So,
right.
Obviously, we will not take his word for it, but still very, very powerful. So, yeah, it's going to be very nice and very. I just can't wait, man. And he is churning out chapters one after the other with no breaks, which is awesome. So let's just,
as the kids say these days, let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah. I too am incredibly excited, and just ever since the break has ended, even before the break, I'd say every chapter has delivered, questions that we've wanted to know for years, and I'm anticipating it not to slow down anytime soon. Especially with Oda saying that he thinks he wants to be able to finish the story in 3 years, which means we have about another 150 chapters at least. But he has also said that he is not great at, especially in the past, he's not great at narrowing down times on when it's going to take. So it could still be 3 to 5 years from now. Because this is another thing I thought was really funny about last chapter too. For years, Oda was teasing, this is the year that Shanks makes his move. And the official translation just straight up says, Shanks is like, all right, I think it's time we make our move. And I was like, oh, come on, you guys don't need to be that on the nose. But yeah, I think Oda had originally said that Shanks was going to make his move in 2021. And we're a little closer to 2023 now than 21. So that should give you some idea of how accurate Oda is with his time frames. But we still have a whole lot of One Piece. And
actually a good thing, because then we can hope that his recent declaration that One Piece is going to end in 3 years is a wrong estimation.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's one of those things for me personally, as I'm as somebody who's caught up to the One Piece manga within the past couple of years. Of course, I understand that people have been reading it week to week for a lot longer than I have, so I understand the sadness that the series is coming to an end. But I'm excited. I mean, a lot of stories out there don't get to tell the ending that they wanted to. They don't. The series gets canceled, or health issues, or something like that stops it from being able to get to that point.
That's all the time. Yes, I agree. Absolutely.
And so I'm thrilled, especially.
We recently heard about how Oda is starting to complain about the effect that his schedule has on his health. So.
Oh boy, that's a little worrisome, because we've had a good amount of excuse me, we've had a lot of mangakas kind of
let's hope he doesn't pull a Togashi even when he just
10 years later we finally get more chapters. Oh boy. Oh, sorry about that. So yes, we wish Oda all the health. I'm putting my hands up in the air as if I'm throwing energy to a spirit bomb right now. I wish Oda and all of his team all the health and success. Huge fans and very excited to see what they have in store for us. But count on Mega Manga Mondays to talk about it. We'll definitely be talking about the new chapter when it comes out next week as well. Kind of losing my voice a little bit. But any final thoughts on the last couple chapters, man, before we move into some plugs and recommendations?
Yeah, they were just awesome. Like, really, I have nothing else to say, and just so happy about the current state of things that I just love it, really. So.
Well, same, man. I'm glad to hear that, and even happier to have you back on. Been missing hearing your thoughts on our favorite goofy pirate manga. But this has been Mega Manga Mondays discussion for One Piece Chapter 1055. I am Jason Hahn. I'm a writer for ScreenRant.com. I like to write a lot of video game related stuff, but being a huge manga fan, we decided to start Mega Manga Mondays. But please check out ScreenRant.com for obviously video game news, and my buddies that I do a lot of these podcasts with write some very interesting introspective articles about manga, Marvel, DC, all kinds of different series that they're very passionate about. So definitely check out the web ScreenRant.com's comics section too. Find some very interesting articles, especially some written by Francesco here. But check out Screen Rant. And I also do another YouTube series called Honzy and Friends. Currently playing the newest God of War on PlayStation 5, and it is
Nice.
Oh, it's beautiful and fun. Had a pretty fun stream with it last night. But I like to stream every Wednesday and Sunday and do some comedic Let's Play videos from time to time. So check that out if that sounds interesting to you. But Francesco, any plugs or recommendations today?
No, not much going on at the moment. So yeah, that's it from me.
All right. Well, actually, with any screen rants that you've done recently that you want to point some attention to?
Yeah, I've been covering all the latest chapters of One Piece. So if you wanna hear more, well, read more about what I think about these last few chapters, just go and check Screen Rant and just look for the One Piece articles, and a lot of them are written by me. That's all.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks again for your time today, man. It's been a lot of fun, and I look forward to talking 1056.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, thanks for your time, and thanks for listening. Have a good one.
Yeah. Bye bye.
Peace.